It is July. Most gardeners assume their planting window is closing, that the best of the season is behind them, that it is too late to start seeds. They are wrong on both counts. Right now, in July, you have two completely different planting windows open simultaneously. One for the crops that will carry you through to November, and one for the crops that thrive in the heat you have right now. Stacey Murphy is going to walk you through 7 seeds to start this week and exactly how to calculate whether you have enough time for each one.
If, let's say there is a cabbage variety that is 60 days to harvest. Typically, I find that 60 days is for a seedling that I transplant. It's not like I don't put the seed in the ground for the cabbage and it's ready 60 days later. I typically find that if I have a seed, I usually plant it 4 weeks later, it's about ready to transplant. And then 60 days after that, it's ready for harvest if it's the usual season. But in the fall, the days start getting shorter, right? So here is where the magic comes in. So this is just a really simple rule of thumb for people where the days are getting shorter and the sun and the temperatures are dropping. I would add 2 weeks. So if 60 days, I would add 14 days to that. So I would say 74 days until that cabbage is going to mature fully. So
this content was recorded at past Grow Your Own Vegetables events, where Stacey Murphy shares exactly which seeds to start in July and how to calculate your harvest window. For more information, free resources, and gentle guidance, you can find us at growyourownvegetables.org. And to grow alongside other gardeners just like you, join our free community at gyov.org.
Perspective. All right, so I see a question from JP from Washington, and his question is, what can I still plant now for a fall harvest? So you are in luck. You're in Washington, D.C. So I've grown quite a bit in New York City, and I'm wondering if D.C. is about the same temperature cycle. So in Brooklyn, we get our first frost around November 15th on average. Now, we've had some cold moments. One time I was harvesting in the snow on October 31st, so that happens every once in a while. And sometimes we don't get our frost until December 15th. But November 15th is a good day for us to plant in Brooklyn. And I think Washington, D.C., you're going to be fairly similar because you're a little bit south. We get some coastal heat, and we also get city heat in Brooklyn. Everything is like 10 degrees warmer in the city, maybe even 20 degrees warmer in the surrounding area. So we have a nice heat island effect from the city. So currently it's the beginning of August, and anything that is like some of your cold weather crops that are going to love the fall, things like broccoli, cabbage, bok choy, any of those Japanese greens, like Japanese cabbage or tatsoi is a very beautiful one. Spinaches you can still get, and you can get kale and collards if you don't already have those in your garden. So those are a lot of those are in the cabbage family. And they're also, some of them are mustards, and then spinach is its own family. And you could also get carrots and beets and radishes, some of those root vegetables you could also get. So
screenshot this. 5 cool season seeds that can go in the ground this week, and every single one of them will be harvesting before your first frost.
So here's how you figure it out, JP. So I don't have a slide of this right now, but I'm going to go to the Johnny's website, and I'm going to give that to you in just a minute, exactly what that is. So Johnny's Seeds, their website is Johnny, JOHNNY, SEEDS.com. So johnnyseeds.com. Now, what I love about their website, this is a website where a lot of farmers buy their seeds on the East Coast. Now, if you click on the link that says Learn on their website in orange, there across the screen there's orange, and there's a tab that says Learn, and you go to Tools and Calculators. So you can do some really cool stuff with their calculators. So they have plans. They have a seed quantity calculator where you can calculate how many seeds you need. And they have, underneath that, they have plant, and it says seed starting date calculator. It also has a fall harvest planting calculator. So I'm going to go to the one that says fall harvest planting calculator. And it's a little download. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And when you open it, what you're going to find is, I'm opening it now, just so I have it on my screen so I can talk clearly about it. When you open it on your screen, what's cool is they have all the different crops from beets, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery. Oh, I love growing celery. All of these crops, kale, kohlrabi, baby lettuce, peas, radish, and then they basically have a date at the top. It says enter average first frost dates for your area below. So when you enter the date and when you open this calculator, the default date says October 1st. And then for each crop, it says when to plant it. So I'm going to put in, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to put in October 25th, or I'm going to put in October 30th. I'm guessing that DC, that probably works for you. So I enter that date, and what comes up is that if you wanted to plant beets, you would want to plant them on August 18th in order for them to come to full maturity. So that's still doable for you, right? And when you want to plant broccoli is August 7th, so it might be a little bit too late for that if your average first frost date is October 30th. And you can go down the list and just see which vegetables are available. So they use an average harvest period here in this particular calculator, but you can go to their site and do this math yourself. And here's how you do it. If, let's say there is a cabbage variety that is 60 days to harvest. Typically, I find that 60 days is for a seedling that I transplant. It's not like I don't put the seed in the ground for the cabbage and it's ready 60 days later. I typically find that if I have a seed, I usually plant it 4 weeks later, it's about ready to transplant, and then 60 days after that, it's ready for harvest if it's the usual season. But in the fall, the days start getting shorter, right? So here is where the magic comes in. So this is just a really simple rule of thumb for people where the days are getting shorter and the sun and the temperatures are dropping. I would add 2 weeks. So if 60 days, I would add 14 days to that. So I would say 74 days until that cabbage is going to mature fully. So
Write this down. This single rule changes how you plan every autumn planting from now on.
So you can do one of two things. You can go to nurseries and find baby transplants that are ready to go into your garden. And then those are going to be much better suited to getting that fall harvest. Now, here's a couple tips. When you're picking which fall harvest crop, kale, collards, those are things that you can harvest whenever you want. And so you can plant them and you can get a great fall harvest regardless. But if you plant something like broccoli and you're waiting for a head to form, sometimes those crops will let you down because the days start getting shorter, you get an unusual frost, and your head, like you don't ever get your broccoli. And so those are a little trickier. You want to give them a little bit more time just to make sure that you have enough time. And know that if your broccoli doesn't head, you can eat all of the broccoli leaves and the stem. It's still delicious. So that's something that I think about when I'm planning out my fall crops is if it's a root crop like a carrot, a beet, broccoli, so root crops, carrots and beets. If it is a heading crop like broccoli or cabbage, I give those a couple extra weeks, even beyond the 2-week window that I already said, because I really want to make sure that I am able to harvest them. So I hope that helps. So in my opinion, if you're in DC, if you can find transplants for cabbage and broccoli and kale and collards, those are all great things that could go in the ground. if you can find seeds for lettuces, spinach, radish, carrots and beets, all of those things can go in the ground. And when it starts to get a little cooler, like let's say the end of August, you could probably start putting some peas in the ground because the days will be cooler. And by the time spring happens, so peas love the cool weather, and so you can be eating pea sprouts. And even if the peas don't get to the maturity of actually having peas, you're going to find that you have a lot of pea shoots. So that's another crop that you could be thinking about. And Swiss chard is always another great one as well. It's very, very cold hardy, and you can eat the leaves consistently, so you don't have to wait around for the heading to happen. All right, so I hope that helps, JP. I hope that gives you some tools to understand how to calculate those days. And in the next call, I can do a quick chart for you just to go back to that idea real quick. Okay.
And now, the two crops that do not wait for autumn. While your cool season seeds are getting started, these two are already thriving in the heat you have right now. Most gardeners in temperate climates have never grown either of them. Both will be producing abundantly by the time your first frost arrives.
Are there crops you suggest that are short-growing but will handle the hot spikes? Okay, so Wendy, you're not alone. I'm hearing from a lot of people. This happens every season, so know that you are not unique, that this happens to a lot of people. We want to start our gardens, and then life gets in the way, and we have to go do something, and for whatever reason, we don't get our garden in as early as we could, and that's totally normal. And remember, I showed those pictures earlier in the lesson let's see if I can put that up here. So I got started, my first farm in Brooklyn was in June. It was like mid-season. And 2 months later, I had a full-fledged, farm going on. So know that it is never too late. That is for sure. And sometimes you just get started a little late in the season. It's okay. So what do you do? Let's say your daily temperatures start to rise above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know that parts of Oregon, the temperatures really don't get above 80, but then other parts of Oregon, they do get above 85. So what do? At that point, you're starting to get into the range of crops that they really want, the crops that like the heat, things like eggplant, tomatoes, and okra, and peppers, and cucumbers. Chard is still there. Kale is still up there. So some of those greens are still up there as well. So if you're finding yourself in this place where you're starting your challenge and the days are getting warmer, and maybe if you look out 40 days from now, you think, oh my gosh, if I plant this food now, some of the things like the lettuces and the radishes, they might not make it because it's going to get too hot. So what do? You might want to think about a 60-day challenge. And I know we don't really cover these crops in this course, but planning for your eggplant, your tomatoes, your peppers, summer squash, cucumber, beans, cabbage, kale, collards, chard, and okra, those are all things that are going to love that heat. And they're all things that are going to be ready in the 55-day range, some sooner. Your beans maybe sooner. Your kale and your collards are going to start to grow, and you're going to be able to harvest them before the 55 days. You'll probably be able to harvest them after 30 days or even 21 days. Little baby, leaves of those, maybe not big full-size leaves, but little baby leaves.
This is the most productive summer green you have never grown. Plant it now, and it will still be producing when your kale and chard are coming in for autumn.
And so maybe think about a 60-day challenge and what that would look like, and could you plan for that? And then crops that are similar to greens that will withstand the heat. So I put a star next to arugula, beets, and turnips. These are things that are in the 40-day challenge. that may deal with temperatures above 85 if they get a little bit of shade. So maybe they're underneath other crops, even things like heat-resistant lettuces. So if you ever look for a lettuce that you want to grow in the summer, look for a heat-resistant lettuce. That's the magic word. And along those same lines, some of the other less known crops that really withstand the heat well, Malabar spinach, I had an image of that earlier and I'll show it to you in a second, sorrel, amaranth, endive, chicory, radicchio, and Japanese cabbage to a certain degree too. All those things are going to withstand the heat, and they are ready 40 days probably for most of them, and some of them sooner. Malabar spinach and sorrel, you can start harvesting pretty soon after you plant it. So those are things that you might find rising to that challenge of heat resistant and short maturing. And I showed this earlier today, but this plant here is actually Malabar spinach. I just planted this a couple weeks ago in the garden. I don't know, actually it was about a week ago. Wow, it grew a lot in a week. But that's a Malabar spinach plant, and it's going to trellis. It's going to grow up this trellis, and it's going to be a beautiful vining green that is very spinach-like and very delicious.
Beans in July. Most gardeners assume they missed the bean window. They have not. Pole beans planted now will be producing all the way through September.
Okay, so what else? And most herbs like the heat too. So keep in mind that all your herbs you can intercrop. And also keep in mind that if you live in a place that has enough moisture, let's say it's hot but it's still moist, you still have some rainfall, you could be growing, microgreens, things like arugula and lettuce and all of those crops, those greens that may not want to grow to full maturity in the heat because it's just too hot. They may make it these little baby plants. You might be able to grow them, and also, of course, you may be able to grow them indoors or in a tray somewhere in a cooler location. So think about all those things, and then also the idea of some sort of shade cloth is another possibility. If you get a lot of sunlight and it's hot, you could consider some shade cloth. So I hope that helps.
Think about where you were at the start of this video. Standing in the garden in July, wondering if you had missed your planting window? Now look at what you know. Kale and collards, baby leaves ready in 21 days, full leaves through November. Beets and carrots, root vegetables that actually improve after the first frost. Radishes, the fastest crop on the list, 21 to 30 days from seed to harvest. Swiss chard, harvest continuously all autumn without waiting for anything to head. Peas, plant at the end of July. Even if the pods do not fully form, you have pea shoots. Malabar spinach, the heat-loving vine that most temperate gardeners never try, producing abundantly right now. Beans, pole beans planted today still have a full season of production ahead of them. 7 seeds, planted this week. Stacey Murphy has been proving for years that July is not the end of the planting season. It is the beginning of the second one. And yours starts now. You are not the gardener who stops planting in July anymore. You are the one who puts kale in the ground this week, who knows to add 2 weeks to every days to maturity number, who plants peas knowing the shoots will arrive even if the pods do not, who walks outside in November and still finds something worth harvesting. If you want to keep learning from Stacey Murphy, there is a whole community of gardeners growing extraordinary food through every season, completely free, at growyourownvegetables.org. This Q&A was recorded at a past Grow Your Own Vegetables event, and what Stacey just shared with you took her years of growing, failing, and figuring out to discover. Now imagine sitting down with 15 experts exactly like her. 15 of the most respected gardeners, herbalists, and soil scientists on the planet, each sharing the single most powerful lesson they know, the insight that changed everything about how they grow food, the thing they wish someone had told them at the beginning. Clinical herbalists who can turn your garden into a medicine cabinet, soil scientists who will change how you see every handful of dirt, food growers who have fed entire communities from a backyard. All of it waiting for you right now, completely free at the Superfood Garden Summit. Go to growyourownvegetables.org/summit, register in 30 seconds, and start watching immediately.